Hello, I'm Leah Marlene, if you don't know me, and I'm here to help you tap into your authenticity so that you may share your gifts and talents with the world. And that's a beautiful thing. So while I'm here to help you, I'm actually also here to keep discovering me. Because if I'm not doing that, then I can't help you. So I invite you to do the same thing. Keep discovering yourself so that in turn you can discover your relationship, your career, your family life, all of those things. This idea of being selfish as a bad thing has really messed a lot of us up because then we edit ourselves out of the picture. But if you aren't fulfilled yourself, you have nothing to give. That's just the truth. That is absolutely the truth. Today's meditation might seem counterintuitive when we're talking about all this, like, ooh, feel good, love, 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 and like it seems all fluffy. And now I'm here to tell you, stop trusting people. That doesn't sound fluffy. That doesn't sound spiritual. Aren't you supposed to be like trusting and open and all hippy dippy? No, you're not. You're actually not. Or you can be whatever you want. But here's the thing about trusting people. When you say you trust someone, what you're really saying is that you trust them to meet all of your expectations. So basically, you're setting it up for failure because nobody's going to meet all your expectations all the time. No one. My daughter is amazing. She exceeds my expectations. She's like such a spiritual light being. Like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, the kids are our teachers and all that, and they are. This girl, I worked with kids. A lot of my life I worked with kids. And this girl, she is like giving me a run for my money because she is teaching me, she is schooling me in ways that I just would never have imagined. All the time that I'd worked with kids did not prep me for this. So I love my daughter. I don't trust her to do everything that I expect her to do all the time. Like this morning, her room was a disaster, and I kind of did not have the best mommy moment because, I got a little upset about it. I know I'm not the first mom or dad in the world who's ever gotten upset at their kid for having a messy room. That doesn't sound like a big deal. But what occurred to me, because I was inside, I was like furious. I mean, the room meant so much to me because to me, it meant time away from her, because then now I have to clean it up. And of course, she needs to clean it up, but she's 5. And sometimes her way of cleaning things up is shoving a bunch of stuff in the corner. And so, do I love my daughter? Yes. Do I trust her to meet all of my expectations? No. I'll give you another example. When I first graduated from high school, I was going to go out to LA and go to film school, and we went to take my placement tests, and I chickened out. I wasn't ready to move to LA yet, so it wasn't until after college that I went. But I stayed in Denver, and I moved in with like some random people because all of the applications for college were closed. And so anyway, long story, a little bit longer, I moved in with some random people. One of the guys that moved into the house was super charismatic. He was so charming. He was good looking. He was funny. He was all the things, right? Like so much fun to hang out with. And he would tell me all the time, he's like, Lee, you trust people too much. And I was like, that's so funny. But I'm like open-hearted and I trust, because I had that weird accent because I was like in my 20s, and everything was like cool. And he was like, no, really, you do. You trust people too much. He's like, you shouldn't put your money on your dresser and stuff. And I was like, I'm at home. I like live here. Why wouldn't I do that? That's silly. And I was just like, ha ha ha. Well, he ended up robbing us. Our roommate robbed us. He was a con artist, and that's what he would do. He would find places where he could move into as a roommate. And then when they were gone, because he would know the schedule, he would take everything. So he took our computers, any cash that was in the house, my roommate's checkbook, tons of stuff, anything, whatever he wanted, he took it. And when we went to the police, he's like, oh yeah, this is the perfect crime, because his fingerprints are on everything, and he had permission to be in the home because he lived there. So of course he had, abandoned ship by then, and he was gone, probably on to his next household where he would steal stuff from people. But see, I trusted him. I trusted him with my expectations. So that was a big lesson for me. And then another lesson has been in different, various relationships. I hear it a lot with people who talk about like dating or, they're like, well, I really trust him, or I really trust her. And now that I'm 510 years old, I realize that's not actually the highest and best spiritual position to take, to trust somebody. Again, why? Because you're saying that you're trusting them to meet all of your expectations. So even if you don't have the con artist example, right? It's just a friend. Then you're like, I trust you so much, but then they're a human being. So they're going to do the things that they're doing in their life, and for the reasons they're doing it, from their past, even if it's something hurtful. It's like from their past, from their programming, from their life, right? They have their whole own life being. So really by me saying I trust you is like control. I trust you to behave and do everything I want when I want it. That's not trust, that's control. And that's codependency. So I'm going to help you today with 3 ways to not trust people. So the first thing is to go, why am I wanting to trust somebody anyway? What is that about me that wants to trust somebody? Oh, because I want to feel love and connection and that like reciprocity with somebody else. Okay, well, that's not trust. That's love. So that's unconditional love. So the first step is to come in to unconditional love. Instead of trusting them to meet all your expectations, trust that no matter what happens, you can step into unconditional love. You might not understand why they did it. You might not agree with what they do, but you can trust that you can come back to unconditional love. Just like with my daughter, I trust that I can come back to unconditional love. And even though I felt furious inside about the room, which seems like such a simple thing, I can trust that, like, no matter what, I love her. That's unconditional love. Whether her room is messy, whether she never listens to me ever again, I trust that I can have unconditional love for her. The second step is to actually come into your own body. And when you're in a relationship with a person you're dating, a friend, your kid, to come into trust that when your expectation is not met, not if, but when. And that's not to be pessimistic. That's just a fact. People are going to not meet your expectations at times because, again, they're in their own frame, in their own life, doing their own things, playing out their own dramas, doing all their stuff. So trust that your expectations at some point will not be met. Trust that. Know that. Not like you're planning for the worst or anything like that. It's just trusting that this is life. It gets messy. People do things that you didn't expect. So when your expectations are not met, trust that you have the capability to handle it. Not them, not trusting them to do and say and act every which way that you want to control, but instead trust that your expectation at some point will not be met, and that you have the faculty and capabilities to take care of your emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being when you are disappointed. Not if, but when. Show me one person in life who's never been disappointed. I've never met anybody who's never felt disappointment in their life. Nobody. I don't care if you have a trust fund and all needs met financially. There is a time in your life that you have or will be disappointed. What are you going to do then? Can you trust yourself to take care of yourself then? That's the most important time. It's easy to talk all this stuff when we're like, I'm on vacation, and it's so easy to just like trust. I'm just laying on the beach and it's like amazing. What about when everything falls apart? What about when you get really disappointed or hurt? Can you trust yourself then to be the highest and best version of yourself? And if you slip out of the highest and best version of yourself, can you trust that you can step back into it? This morning when I felt that rage build up about my daughter's room, because I had just cleaned it. I mean, it was spotless and it was a mess. I wasn't my highest and best self. I'll admit it. I was not. I got a little mad and I raised my voice, and I don't like that. I don't want to raise my voice. I want to be that mom that's like, honey. See, I can't even act it because it's like you can sense how frustrated I was. So that's my work, to really learn and trust that I'm a human being and I'm going to make mistakes, and trust that I can come back into alignment with my highest and best and do better next time. Number 3 is to trust really in the bigger scheme of things. I don't know what you want to call it. If you call it God, the universe, nature, your internal knowing, the bigger picture. Trust in the bigger picture, that even through, and especially through, disappointments, and I'm mentioning the daughter room, not that big a deal on a grand scale of disappointment, right? The con artist thing, a little bigger. But then there's other examples of people getting really hurt, right? I was with a guy one time who I almost married, and he was like cheating on me with everybody, like everyone. And not only that, it's like he got off on like bringing me around the people that he was cheating on me with. I mean, we lived together. I had a ring on my finger. We were going to be engaged. And I trusted him. So like I never snooped. I never did anything. I mean, he would come home at 3 a.m. and I was like, I just trust, like, why would I want to control him? Like, he's his own person. I thought I was like the coolest girlfriend on the planet and whatever. But I wasn't trusting the bigger picture. When I found out that he had been cheating on me and we broke off the engagement, and I mean, it was like so many women, and they had come to our house for parties. Like, they got off on that, like that I was like so stupid. And then some people, because I was in the stand-up comedy world at the time. I wasn't doing stand-up at the time, but he did stand-up. And so when I started doing stand-up, that was another thing. Like, I missed him so much when we broke up. But what I realized is I didn't really miss him. I missed the comedy. And so then I started doing stand-up comedy. I was like, well, I can go to comedy clubs. I can go do that. And that's another story that maybe I'll share with you sometime about how that all developed. But out of my pain, I developed a stand-up comedy act. And it was like really funny at first until I like healed that wound inside me. And then I had to change my set list up. But anyway, the point is, then I was around all these comics. Comics are really cynical, and they can be a tough group, right? And they're honest a lot of times. Well, he wasn't honest. I mean, they're not, I can't say a whole group of people is honest, but I mean, sometimes brutally honest, some of the people, right? So when I started going to the clubs on my own, a couple of the guys in particular were like, "Oh, we just thought you were an idiot." Like, oh, thanks. They're like, "Yeah, we thought it was totally obvious and we just thought you were dumb. Or we thought that you like agreed to it or whatever." So I felt devastated. I felt embarrassed. I felt mad. I felt hurt. I was totally disappointed. My trust was totally broken. I felt like I couldn't trust anybody ever again because my good-hearted nature was so taken advantage of. Like me not being that girl, like snooping on the phone and yelling at you for coming home when you went out with friends or whatever, that was used against me. So I felt like my trust was like completely like annihilated. But what I came to find out was I wasn't trusting in the bigger picture. I wasn't trusting in the fact that even this challenging, heartbreaking situation is opening me to my greater yet becoming. It's strengthening me, trusting that even this I can get through. So whatever you're going through, I just want to remind you to trust that you can handle it when your expectations are not met, when you get hurt, when you get disappointed, when you get lied to, because you will if you're a human being on this planet. And trust that there's a bigger picture at play. Trust that even this is an opportunity to grow strength and trust within yourself. Trust within yourself to come back to your highest and best, that you can take care of yourself even through this, especially through this. Stop trusting other people to do everything that you think they should be doing. They won't. At some time, they won't. Even the best people, like even the most honest, wonderful people, are going to disappoint you at times. They're going to be late. They're going to have something come up. They're going to cancel on you. You know, whatever it is. Trust yourself that you got this. You can handle this. Don't put all the power on other people. Ever. And then you can actually enjoy, the relationships that you have and the things you have. Today's meditation is really about trusting yourself. So let's meditate. Sit up nice and tall. Allow your shoulders to relax down and away from your ears. Close your eyes or have a soft, steady gaze. Take a deep breath in and out of your nose. Breathe in, I trust myself. Breathe out any attachments and expectations to what other people will do. Breathe in, I trust myself at all times to have the strength when I am in a challenging situation where my expectations are not met. Breathe. trust myself to come back into alignment with my highest and best when I have not trusted myself, when I have overreacted, when I have reacted in a way that doesn't suit me and my health and well-being. Take a deep breath in and out. Coming back into the divine trust within yourself to move, breathe, and speak with trust that you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way. Take a deep breath in and out. I trust my heart has beated for me since the beginning of my time as this being, and it will until the end of my time as this being in this human body. I can trust my heart. Breathe. Breathing in and out from your heart space, trusting your heart that has always been there for you. Breathe in and out from your trusting heart. Trusting that the next breath you take is available for you. It's right there. Your breath has been there through every challenge, every triumph. You can trust your breath. Breathe. Coming back into the acceptance and awareness that you make mistakes, and so does everybody else. Breathing in and out from the place of trust that even when mistakes are made, you have what it takes to trust, to love, to breathe. Noticing now if there's any places within your body where you don't feel trust. And imagine with your next inhale, you could breathe in the magic into every cell of your being. Full love, full trust. Breathe. Bringing in the mantra here, I trust myself to make the best choices for myself, especially in challenging situations. Breathing in and out, I am trust. Breathe in and out, I am the trust I project on others. Breathe in and out. I trust the bigger picture that whatever challenging situation may arise, I have full capacity to meet the challenge. I trust myself. I am capable. Breathe. Breathe in and out. Trust. 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 Putting your left hand on top of your heart, your right hand on top of your left. Feeling your heart beating here. Trusting that your heart is there to support you. You can trust following your heart. You can trust your inner wisdom. You can trust that in the moments you don't trust your inner knowing, that you can immediately come back into alignment, into love, into trust in yourself. Breathe. Thank you so much for meditating today. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when these are posted. So much love to you.